Right, let's take you now live to Pretoria, where the South African National Government is giving an update on the process to declare Gauteng crime prevention wardens as peace officers. The briefing follows a public protector report, I beg your pardon, which found the establishment of the unit to be unlawful and unconstitutional. In response, the Gauteng government moved to regularize the unit by transitioning the wardens into provincial traffic officers, a process that is currently underway. Let's listen in.
The Department of Justice, following this meeting, received a revised request from the Office of the Premier dated 21 January 2026, requesting the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development to declare Gauteng crime prevention wardens as peace officers in terms of Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1977, in order to assist in enforcing safety and security for the residents of Gauteng province. Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act vests the authority in the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development to declare categories of persons as peace officers by notice in the Government Gazette, to define the scope of their powers, prescribe conditions for certification, and regulate accountability. This declaration process is therefore a statutory responsibility of the Ministry of Justice, and it is exercised in consultation with the Ministry of Police and in accordance with the law. Government wishes to inform the public, and most importantly, those individuals who have been affected by this uncertainty, that the remedial measures directed by the Public Protector have been acted upon, and the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development has today gazetted and declared the Gauteng traffic wardens as peace officers, and therefore making them lawful to operate and fulfill the responsibilities given to them. Government has worked collaboratively across spheres to address the legal deficiencies identified, to align the processes with the applicable legislative framework. In this regard, over 9,000 wardens will be declared peace officers within Gauteng. Government further confirms that training is a critical requirement in the process of declaring any category of persons as peace officers. Such training must attest to the competency of individuals to exercise powers contemplated in Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1977, and is considered by the Minister of Police when assessing requests for declaration. We confirm that the wardens are currently undergoing a second phase of training to qualify in line with their designated functions, following recommendations contained in the relevant technical report. The process is being undertaken alongside engagements with relevant stakeholders to ensure full compliance with all legal and statutory requirements. Government further emphasizes that peace officers may only exercise powers within a specific jurisdiction in relation to defined offences and strictly within the scope set out in the declaration published in the Government Gazette today. These duties may only be exercised when an officer is properly appointed and in a position of a valid certificate of appointment, failing which any action taken has no legal force or effect. Government has therefore ensured compliance with the legal and policy basis underpinning this declaration, including alignment with the National Road Traffic Act 1996, the steps taken to give effect to the Public Protector's remedial actions, and clarity on the scope of authority, powers, and limitation applicable to the wardens. We have today submitted the report to the Public Protector together with an apology for the delay in the implementation of the remedial action, as it required thorough work and consultation with all the department and stakeholders involved. Through this declaration and the announcement today, government will strengthen the broader intergovernmental approach to crime prevention and ensuring that communities are safe in Gauteng, but more so working together across our country. Thank you very much.
the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development exercised the power and announced a declaration. That is good news. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to then say we have now a force multiplier against crime that has been declared. Let me invite the Minister of Police, Professor Firoz Kachalia. Prof.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start somewhere, but let me begin with what's written. Let me acknowledge the presence of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mmamoloko Kubayi, Gauteng Premier Amapanyaza Lesufi, senior officials, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. The rule of law is a core value of our constitutional order. But it's not a straitjacket. It allows for innovative responses to public needs, including what is a core interest of our people, public order and safety. So I want to congratulate, first of all, Premier Lesufi for his energy and determination to think carefully and in a responsive way about responding to the needs of our people with energy and the ability to innovate. I also want to thank the Minister of Justice for her leadership, because we are now in a position to implement this brainchild of Premier Lesufi in a way that is lawful, that is constitutionally compliant. And it's going to make a difference to the communities in Gauteng. And so we are very pleased to be here when this important announcement is being made. So today marks a significant milestone in the strengthening of law enforcement capacity and improving coordination within the justice, crime prevention and security cluster. As mentioned by the Minister, we are here to announce that the Gauteng traffic wardens will be declared peace officers in line with the applicable legislative framework of the Republic of South Africa. This declaration follows extensive consultations and careful consultation and careful consideration of all the legal mandates governing the appointment and designation of peace officers. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, the South African Police Service, the Civilian Secretariat of the Police Service, the Road Traffic Management Corporation, the RTMC, as well as the Gauteng Provincial Government, worked jointly on ensuring that we are here today over a long period of time to overcome initial obstacles. The Gauteng traffic officers, wardens, who will now be declared peace officers today, have undergone the necessary training and assessment. And so that's important. It means that they can be deployed effectively to carry out their responsibilities. They have been found to be competent, capable, and are therefore adequately prepared to execute their duties within the scope of the law. Their training equips them to support law enforcement efforts while respecting human rights, due process, and the rule of law. The designation of traffic wardens as peace officers will enhance their ability to perform specific law enforcement functions, particularly in relation to road safety, traffic-related offenses, and crime prevention support, including deployment, as the Premier was explaining to me, at sports events, for instance. This will contribute to more effective policing, improve compliance with the law, and safer communities. This development also reflects the importance of cooperation within government as contemplated in our Constitution. Cooperative governance requires all spheres and organs of state to work together in mutual trust and good faith, coordinating their efforts to serve the people of our country. By working together across departments and spheres of government, we are able to deploy resources more effectively, avoid duplication, and strengthen the collective impact of the cluster. This also brings to life the cooperation agreements we have entered into with metropolitan municipalities in Gauteng, working together to effectively fight crime. These peace officers will play a critical role in supporting the criminal justice system. They will serve as a force multiplier, you've heard that, for the South African Police Service by assisting with law enforcement functions within their designated powers. Their role enhances visibility, improves response capacity, and contributes to the prevention and detection of crime, particularly in high-pressure environments such as our road networks. As government, we remain committed to ensuring that all law enforcement personnel operate within the confines of the law, are properly trained, and are held accountable for their actions. This initiative advances those principles while strengthening our collective ability to maintain law and order. I thank all departments and stakeholders involved and for their cooperation and diligence in bringing this process to completion, and wish the peace officers well in their journey. Thank you. Ria Leboga. Thank you, Premier.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Minister of Police. The sequence. The custodian of our constitutional democracy, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, declared legal. Those who have to make sure that the laws are adhered to under the Minister of Police. Now, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to call upon the recipient of all the good news, the initiator of this important aspect. I'm not sure. I heard they say, Minister Kubayi saying they are popularly known as Amapanyaza. I don't know who's that one. But let me invite the Premier of the province that is responsible for the economy, not only of the country, but also of the SADC region, including, of course, in the continent. The Premier of Gauteng, Ntate Lesufi.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and Constitutional Development. Mmamoloko, that's excitement.
You can extend a portfolio.
Mmamoloko Kubayi.
I support you.
Not only for your leadership and for convening this collaborative briefing, but the energy and the support that you have provided ever since you took office in this portfolio. My sincere appreciation also to the Minister of Police. Upon his appointment, he asked us to come and brief him in his office on how we intend to utilize this force multiplier so that it can assist him and his team to fight crime in our province. I also want to thank all the senior officials that have been assigned to this task, and they've executed this task the way we have requested them to do so. So today marks a decisive and positive milestone for the safety and security of the people of Gauteng. This release of the Gazette and announcement of the peace officer status of our traffic officers or traffic wardens, together as a provincial government and national government, indeed provide a powerful testament to the principle of cooperative governance in action. We are here to communicate a clear message to the criminals that we are ready now to use every resource at our disposal to protect our residents. Minister Kubayi has eloquently outlined the legal pathway we have navigated together in response to the report of the Public Protector. I wish to underscore and applaud the spirit of partnership that has been defined by this process. The discussions between these three officers have been constructive, solution-driven, but most importantly at all times, putting the interest of our citizens first. This is a victory for the rule of law and for integrated crime fighting that helps align our efforts and strengthen the hand of the state against criminality. We have indicated and continue to indicate that our decision to support the SAPS was nothing else but to ensure that we push back crime in our province. Every time statistics were released, we knew that Gauteng was the epicenter of crime in our country. As the economic hub of our country, there was no way that we'll fold our arms when children are killed, women are attacked, people are mugged as they go to do either shopping or to visit transport modes like taxi ranks. And we felt we must go beyond words and practice what we preach to push crime in our province. And our intervention strategy, I think, has been misunderstood. That there's been a concentration on the support that we've given the SAPS only on the traffic wardens. And I want to take this opportunity to demonstrate how, as the provincial government, we've given support to the SAPS to execute their mandate. Firstly, last year alone, we gave the SAPS 250 new police cars. These are the cars that are exclusively utilized by the SAPS. We are the only province that donated those cars to the law enforcement agencies. Secondly, we connected not less than 13,000 CCTV cameras across the province so that when crime occurs, we can take the footage and give it to law enforcement agencies so that we can't say we don't know what happened in our province when crime occurs. And this has assisted us to bust major criminal syndicates and mass shootings that took place in our province. Thirdly, we are the only province that bought 3 helicopters and handed over to the SAPS to fight crime in our province. Every time there is a cash heist, criminals close the roads. That is why we've given these helicopters to the law enforcement agencies to confront these criminals. We remain the only province that have made available 3 helicopters to the SAPS. We've made available almost 50 drones and trained people to utilize these drones so that when law enforcement agencies enter an area, they can know the area that they're entering with the support of the footage from the drones. We remain the only province that have provided this kind of support to law enforcement agencies. It was within that context that we felt we can't only give aerial support, we also need to give ground support. So that law enforcement agencies, if they want to know what is happening in each and every ward in our province, they can make contact with ground forces. It was within that context that we recruited 9,400 young people that were unemployed to be our traffic wardens. Of the 9,400, almost 2,900 were unemployed soldiers that were part of military arms of Umkhonto Wesizwe, Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, and many political parties, thus taking them out of poverty to be part of these law enforcement agencies. Fifthly, we felt that we also need to ensure that when crime occurs, there is no municipality that can say this crime is happening in Midval or in Murafong, I'm in Ekurhuleni, it's none of my business. We started a very important process, Minister Kubayi and Minister Kachalia, to ensure that each and every municipality pass a resolution in a council meeting to integrate all traffic departments of all municipalities in Gauteng to be under the direct command of the SAPS. Every Tuesday, we'll bring all these resources. That's dogs, that's cars, that's hippos. All these resources have been pulled together to support the SAPS. We also introduced the panic button, especially for women, so that when they are attacked, they don't have to make a phone call, they press a panic button. To date, 900,000 people have used the panic button when they needed either an ambulance or police support, or they needed any form of support from law enforcement agencies. We are now in the process of changing the number plates of our cars because crime in Gauteng, a motor vehicle is involved. Either as a getaway or that car is stolen, and therefore we need number plates that can allow us to track. And the Minister of Transport have given us the go-ahead to make these changes. This is our contribution to fight crime in Gauteng. And therefore, the resources and the decision that has been taken today by Minister Kubayi and Minister Kachalia adds to this support that we've been looking for. So we want to take this opportunity to thank the ministers and appreciate the work and the guidance that they've provided. But let me declare this. This is the beginning of hard work. Now that the paperwork has been done, what we need to do is to go and train these 9,400 wardens to do what they need to do. It was extremely difficult to invest in their training capabilities until we knew where they stood. Now that we know, you will see a new agile, professional team, respectful team that will ensure that they do their work professionally. Another task is for them to also specialize in certain support systems. Currently, they're assisting the Border Management Agency at the airport. They're also assisting other institutions that have requested their support. We also want to train them in those responsibilities so that they can execute their responsibilities. It's indeed a good day for us. And for it to be good, we want to thank the ministers that have made it easy for us to go through. The gazette that has been published today is nothing else but a singular shot to criminals that we are now going to support law enforcement agencies with proper systems, proper infrastructure, so that Gauteng can be a peaceful province. We can't be the economic hub of the country if we remain the epicenter of crime. And this partnership that we've outlined, we are of the strong view. It will assist us to make Gauteng peaceful. Last year alone, Minister Kubayi, with the support and the systems that we've put in place, Gauteng, for the very, very first time, our crime stats went down by almost 9%. An indication that these investments are indeed turning up to be a proper investment to fight crime. Once more, thank you so much, Minister Kubayi, Minister Kachalia, as well as all the officials that have made this exercise possible. We are ready to execute our mission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Premier of Gauteng, Ministers and Premier. Every year, the beginning of the year, in the continent and in the region, the wish of many of them is to travel south. When they travel south, they travel to South Africa. South Africa, then you have Gauteng as the nectar province that everyone wants to come to. Also in South Africa, the nectar of all opportunities and job prospects is Gauteng. What it means, it then increases the pressure on all the aspects of the province, including housing, including infrastructure, water, everything. And with it also comes the strain in terms of crime. And hence, this is a welcome thing that has happened today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me then welcome questions, first from the House, and then we'll go online. The drill is the same. Indicate through your hand, introduce yourself and the media house that you represent. It appears the good news went through well. We don't have questions. Oh, no, let me note and recognize the hand.
From Newzroom Afrika. Okay, so I've got a few questions to ask, and the first question will be directed to the Acting Minister of Police.
Minister of Police.
Oh, Minister of Police.
By directive of the chair.
Okay, I'd like to ask about the SAPS investigation as a result of the Maitanga Commission, and then I will ask the Minister of Justice about, ask her to maybe reflect on Badohi's legacy a little bit later on. And perhaps also I can maybe ask the Premier about, just a reflection of what the wardens have done in terms of assisting in wards and in fighting crime, because I believe that was their main purpose when they were, hired in 2023. So if you could just find out from that, how far, how have they helped in communities?
Thank you very much. I note and recognize your name, your hand.
Thank you. I'm Hawelo Magolewa from UFM and Newzroom. Just a bit of an explain of what a peace officer does. What's different from their current role, and then also in terms of administering their work, are they now going to be moved to a different state entity, or are they going to remain employees of the Gauteng department? And if so, yes. If so, which particular department is going to be responsible for them?
Thank you very much, Kaukel. Any other hand? Maybe because the topic, I think it's same, let me go online. Might find that now maybe the questions are similar. Tagalani?
Thanks, Mr. We're still quite online for now. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Not sure who's starting.
No, this one's are difficult. Let me start.
With the software. We'll start with the Premier.
Madonna are difficult. Thank you so much. What have the wardens done thus far? Remember, up until today, they've been in training. So what they were doing, they were instructed by law enforcement agencies because they're not a standalone. They're a force multiplier. Whatever they do, they must do in the presence of other law enforcement agencies. I think their leadership is there in uniform. You can see them. So that's what they've been doing. But thus far, together with the law enforcement agencies, they've closed down drug dens. Because they're in each and every ward and they come from those areas, they know who's selling drugs in some of the communities that they've been deployed. To us, that was very important because we stand here where a generation may be wiped off completely because of the use of drugs. And they've been assisting us. Secondly, is gender-based violence. There were many young people in particular, when they were coming from places of entertainment, they're either attacked or they're mugged. The presence of law enforcement agencies in this particular section was also assisting. Thirdly, which is something I always say to the team, it remains a miracle that people that are unarmed, they've retrieved the high number of illegal guns that they've retrieved. They will give you the exact stats. So they've managed to remove guns that are illegal in our communities. But the area that I honestly never thought about it, but they've done it exceptionally well, is the chop shops that were, what is the official name of chop shops? Scrapyards. Illegal scrapyards, where people bring cables and they bring stolen things there. They've managed to shut down hundreds of those areas. And they've managed to protect state property, especially traffic lights, our electricity, because there are people out there that wants to damage state installations. So they've managed also to assist us to especially cable theft, because in most instances, they've disrupted people that want to steal our cables and provide support. But the one that is popular with our citizens is at football matches. There are people that drive a certain mode of car. They will tell you. They know if they park that car outside sporting events, by the time they come back, the lights are gone. And since we have deployed and provided support to law enforcement agencies, a majority of our sporting events, people are not marked, their phones are not taken, their cars are not broken into. I mean, there's one a sporting code, they always call us to say, if we have these guys, we know they are the last to leave. Even when there's one car remaining, they won't leave until that car leaves, and they leave. So there's been an additional support to law enforcement agencies who are dealing with crowd control inside the stadium, but outside the stadium, the wardens and sporting events have been providing all this many support. But also they've pushed back those people that are, you know, you go to many communities, we have seen before, the team started to be strategic. People just cut traffic lights. You'll see traffic lights falling on the ground, and they've been providing support to ensure that those things don't happen. But the one that touches my heart, maybe it's because of my history in education, is when during examination they escort young people from libraries and schools after they've studied late at night. That warms my heart. Or when they escort abokoko and abomkhulu in the morning when they go to a taxi rank or railway line, railway stations around 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning.
All right, that is Premier Amapanyaza Lesufi, Premier of Gauteng. He is at the briefing on the declaration of the Gauteng traffic wardens as peace officers. And this, of course, was done under the auspices of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mmamoloko Kubayi, who's the custodian of this particular aspect of things. The Minister of Police, Professor Firoz Kachala, is also there as the traffic wardens, or now peace officers, will be carrying out their duties under his watch. The briefing is, of course, because of a request that has been made by the man that you're seeing on your screen there, Premier of Gauteng, Amapanyaza Lesufi, who requested that the traffic wardens be declared as peace officers in terms of Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act of 1997. That, of course, followed the investigation by the public protector, issuing a report that identified challenges in the establishment, appointment, and deployment of the crime prevention wardens and called for the appropriate legislative response. She says the wardens had no legal authority to perform police functions such as arrests and searches. She said the Gauteng Department of Community Safety acted outside the legal mandate. They misapplied the law. And she said, well, the Premier must then comply with the law with suggestions to reclassify the wardens as traffic officers within 180 days, ensuring proper training. So that's how we got here. And now they seem to feel that all the legislative requirements have now been met.